It's time to talk about the things that you should never tell a woman. I know you guys missed me. I know it's been a while since my last upload. I was doing statistics and math exams, you know, the subjects that all the virgins take, and I decided to come back with a video about things that you should never tell women. All of us guys have made these mistakes in the past. And look, dude, unlike these other YouTubers, I actually read comments and reply to them. So I know what people say, right? No offense, some of you guys are just so predictable. I made a bingo card, as you can see here, in anticipation of the things that like 50% of the commenters are gonna say. It's just so obvious. Like, I know you guys like the back of my hand, right? So I'm probably gonna refer to this bingo card at some point in the video, because you know, it's just so much shit that people say that's like parroted over and over again, even though, you know, some of them are actually valid. Most of them are just stupid, you know, especially the personal ones, like who hurt me. Of course I've been hurt before. What 21-year-old man hasn't been hurt before? And then calling me an involuntary celibate because I said don't pedestalize women. Like, bro, come on, like, come up with a more unique insult. So anyways, I have some quotes here, things that guys commonly say. And obviously this list is going to be pretty nuanced because the rules that apply to girls you just met aren't the same rules that are going to apply to your girlfriend. One last thing before we get into the video, I decided to make an Instagram specifically for the YouTube channel. So if you want to speak to me, if you want to DM me about your personal stuff, completely free. I'm not like these grifters who are going to charge you or anything. You can just follow me and DM me on Instagram and I'll probably get back to you when I have time. Okay, the first thing we have here is I love you. And this really depends on how you say it and the stage of the relationship you're in. Bro, if you just met the girl and you guys matched on Tinder and you've been talking for 2 weeks and you hit her with the I love you while staring her dead in the eyes with the most intense eye contact ever, I'm sorry, bro, that's just gonna turn her off. Like, women who you're in the process of courting don't want you to love them. You should only really be hitting her with the I love you while looking her in the eyes so romantically and stuff is if she's your wife. Honestly, if she has a proven track record of the loyalty, the honesty, and the respect, sure, bro, she deserves the I love you, say it. But then there's also the type of guy who would say it in like a casual way. Like when I was younger, we used to just say I love you to each other in like a very casual and playful way. Like, oh, I love you too. Like it didn't mean anything, right? But if you want to say it in this like meaningful, like almost spiritual way, okay, bro, you can't just be saying that to any girl that you meet and who shows you some interest, right? First of all, not only is it going to turn them off, I guarantee you it's going to turn them off, okay? And again, let's go back to the bingo card. What's something that people are going to say? Just be yourself. Why can't I do this if I'm not myself? Only the toxic and low quality women get turned off by I love you. No, dude, all of them get turned off by I love you. At least if she's your wife, you have a ring on it, so like there's some level of protection there. If it's a girl that you just courted and you're already spilling all your love and emotions onto her, it is not the way to go, bro. I'm telling you right now, she's gonna be turned off. I'm telling you guys, the meta with women in 2024 and beyond is to keep it casual until the relationship happens. People like Casey Zander, John Zerka talk about this. Even some of the other red pill guys are catching on. You don't want to be too serious and too intense with a girl. Always keep it casual, playful. You're not committed. You're not attached. You don't want her until the relationship happens. How does the relationship happen? We're going to get into that because, you know, this one is a big one. A lot of guys ask that I completely disagree with. Next up, we have I miss you, right? Again, depends on how you say this. Casually, yo, I missed you. Where have you been? Completely fine. I miss you. In this like romantic way, yeah, dude, maybe only if she's your girlfriend or only if she's your wife. I'm gonna put this at only if she's your girlfriend. It's not as serious as saying I love you, but I know by me saying this, I'm gonna come off as like this pretentious alpha male, like, oh, dude, you don't want to show emotions. Dude, it's not about that. It's just about being pragmatic and realistic. When you do this shit and you start saying stuff like I love you and I miss you too quickly, watch her pull away, watch her lose interest, and watch her gravitate to the guy who doesn't say those things and honestly doesn't even give a fuck about her. And again, let's go back to the bingo card. What's something people are gonna say? If I can't be authentic, I don't want her. Dude, what does you not saying I miss you or I love you have to do with being authentic? Is it that hard for you to control your impulse to say a couple words? Like, is it that hard to not say I love you? Is it that hard to not wear your heart on your sleeve? Like, I genuinely don't understand how showing some restraint is seen as not being authentic. It's just being smart and knowing what to say and how to act right. When you go to a job interview, are you going to say, no, I don't want to be professional, I just want to be authentic? Or are you going to try to come off as professional as possible so you can eventually get the job? And then when you do get the job, there's more leeway to act more like how you normally would. Next up, I need you. Okay, this one's the worst. Never say this. I don't care if she's your wife. You don't need anyone. What do you need her for? Is she paying your bills? No. Is she paying your taxes? No. And if she is paying your bills, then you don't need her. You need a fucking job. Saying this is the worst and most desperate form of communication ever, because you're putting her on this grand pedestal and elevating her so high above you, and the problem with doing that is she will now look down on you, and then she's gonna end the relationship and look for better, because deep down women are hardwired to look for guys who don't need them and guys who are better than them. Don't hate the player, hate the fucking game. Next up, we have verbally flexing. You know, flexing your possessions, flexing your accomplishments, who you are as a guy. I think coming off as cocky isn't a bad thing if you do it correctly, right? If you're overly flexing and like always talking about yourself, it could come off as pretentious. But if you have this like narcissistic and self-centered aura about you to some degree, and she sees evidence that that is who you are, I'm not gonna lie, it actually does turn her on. So I'm gonna say that this is very safe to do. Just don't overdo it. Okay, next we have anything that gives off worry or stress, right? So women are anxious creatures. They're very, very sensitive to the energy that you're giving off. If you're fucking stressing, pacing around, worried, and giving off this like worried, nervous energy, then she will perceive that you are too affected by your external environment, which is the opposite of masculinity, right? Because masculinity is being stable and grounded in yourself and not letting external factors control you. I know we're men and I know we have feelings and we do worry and stress. Just learn how to control it a little bit, bro. It's not that hard, okay? It's not all of a sudden inauthentic for you to just keep those feelings in and then, you know, go vent to your friends or your family or people who actually give a fuck. But I'm gonna put this at congrats, you just killed all attraction. Next we have I don't know, you decide. Yeah, this is the biggest mistake I've made in the past. Like, I say this a lot because I don't give a fuck where we go to eat. I'm serious, dude. I'm the worst planner. I'm the worst person to ask what to do. Like, I hate organizing and planning, but I've made it a habit to actually start doing that more, because when you leave it in the woman's terms, she feels like she's in the leadership position, and they hate being in the leadership position, and they hate it when you're a fucking follower and they're walking you around like you're a dog on a leash. It may not seem deep to some of you. Some of you may be like, dude, this isn't even that deep, man. Like if you don't want to decide, it's cool, man. Just let her decide. No, dude, trust me, if she's a feminine woman, she's not gonna like it when you leave the decision making to her. So I'm gonna put this at you just killed all attraction. You could still get away with doing this a couple times, so I'm not gonna put it at the very top, but like, you want to avoid doing this. Next up we have do you maybe want to go on a date sometime? This is the fucking most blue pill way to ask a girl out possible. Why do guys still do this in 2024? This is such a rookie mistake, like such a rookie mistake. It's so easy to avoid. It's not do you want to go on a date, it's hey, I'm going to X location at Y time, come along. That's how you do it. Saying it in this way is so cringe. She knows you have no backbone and no balls, like you have no testosterone in your system. Just say, hey, I'm going here, come with me. If she says no, she can fuck off and you're going anyway. That's how it's supposed to feel, okay? Casual. State, don't ask. Next up, where my hug at? Brother. I mean, do I even have to get into this? Like, where my hug at? Simpy, desperate, lame, you're deprived of intimacy. Like that's all it gives off. Let me know in the comments if you've ever experienced someone doing this in real life. I've had a few cases where I've witnessed someone say this. The whole room fucking goes silent and stares at him in absolute awe of the cringe they just witnessed. Next up, will you be my girlfriend? Now, this is going to be the most controversial one of the video. I already know. Let's see if this is anywhere in the bingo card. All right, so you know, some people are gonna say things like, well, I asked my girlfriend out and she loved it, therefore asking her out doesn't turn her off. Dude, I'm sorry, but no one cares about your mid-girlfriend. Even if what you're saying is true, exceptions don't make the rule, and you can't really gauge whether it turned her off or not just because she's dating you. Some women will say yes to you asking them to be your girlfriend, but they still always want to be the ones who do it. You have to let her ask you the inevitable question if she likes you, what are we? You have to let her do it. You can't ask her to be your girlfriend. It is not in your masculine or biological imperative to be seeking commitment from her. Think about it. The feminine is the one who needs to seek commitment, because the commitment of the man from an evolutionary perspective is what guarantees her safety and her security long term. You as a man, your imperative is sexual variety. I'm not saying you have to sleep around and be a whore. I'm just saying you should be hesitant at the idea of commitment until she's the one who's like, please be my girlfriend. Then you're like, fine. That's how the dynamic has to be. But if you really insist on being the one to ask her to be your girlfriend, don't ask it in this simpy beta way, like, hey, will you be my girlfriend? Just be like, yo, we're dating right now. Like, you have to say it in like this casual, you have to imply it. You can't really ask it. So I'm gonna put this at congrats, you just killed all attraction. The guys who know how to do this correctly, respect. You can get away with it. Next up, we have talking about past rejections and breakups. You never ever want to do this, guys. I don't know why so many guys feel the need to tell their girlfriend like, yeah, you know, my ex was horrible. She cheated on me. She was toxic and manipulative. You know what you're actually telling her? Because women never judge other women. They only judge men. So what you're actually subconsciously telling her is, I get no girls, or girls don't like me, or they don't like me enough to stay in a relationship with me. Because women understand other women, so they will just assume that if she left you, it was you, not her. So you never want to talk about girls who rejected you or girls who broke up with you. You have to give off this illusion of like, I get all the girls and I'm perfect with all of them and I never struggle with any of them, because the second she gets doubts that you struggle with girls, she's just going to assume that you're not pre-selected and you get nothing and you're making it harder on yourself, and she's going to lose interest. Next up, we have let me see your phone, deemed by a lot of women as a very insecure question, because a lot of the times they're texting other guys on their phone. Sometimes they're not, you know, there's good women out there, but saying let me see your phone, this is actually good if you do it in a playful way. Like if you pretend to be jealous in this like fun and humorous way, like, yo, let me see your phone, who are you talking to? In that kind of jealous way, it could work. But if you're seriously doubting whether she's cheating and you're actually emotional and want to see her phone, that is not good, bro. That means you just picked the wrong girl. Because if you're willing to get in a relationship with a girl, you should have full conviction that she wouldn't do something like that. And I know women are unpredictable and they might start off loyal and then, you know, fall off and shit. I would say the only time you should do this is if she's your wife. You know, if she's your wife, you have a reason to make sure she's not cheating. If she's your girlfriend and you have doubts and she's not treating you well or whatever the case may be, I think the best option is to just leave her. Saying anything that puts her on a pedestal. Look, this is a hot take. A lot of you guys are not going to agree with me on this, but from my experience, the only way for a woman to truly fall in love with you is after you knock her off the pedestal. You cannot keep her on it and still expect her to love you. She will still like you as a friend zone guy who's never gonna smash, but if you really want her soul, you have to knock her off the pedestal. You have to pick her up and place her on the ground at the same level that you're standing in, so that you guys are actually equals or she's below you, because women don't fall in love with guys who they perceive to be below them. And anytime you boost her ego, anytime you pedestalize her, you give her an inch, she's gonna take a mile, and she's gonna make it that much harder for you, that much harder to actually respect you. So try to avoid things that put her on a grand pedestal. Now, of course, if she's your girlfriend or if she's your wife, you should be complimenting her. You should be, you know, giving her attention, caring, etc. Like all the loving, healthy relationship stuff that the blue pillars talk about. If she's your wife or your girlfriend, those are things that you're gonna have to do. But in the courting process, you have to avoid anything that puts her on a pedestal. So let me aim for the middle ground here and just say only if she's your wife. Next up, we have self-deprecating humor. Terrible, terrible shit. So many guys do this. So many guys perform the worst possible formula that you could do, which is putting her on a pedestal, so complimenting her and saying good stuff about her, but then belittling yourself and deprecating yourself through self-deprecating humor. So you'll put her on a pedestal and then you'll talk down about yourself. Now the gap between you guys is so high, she just doesn't even respect you anymore. She sees you as subhuman. Never ever talk badly about yourself, even if it's as a joke. Yeah, I'm ugly, no girl wants me. Never say that shit to a girl. I know you're seeking pity points and you want her to like you, but you should never ever do this, guys. It's horrible. Next, we have you're the only girl I'm talking to. So this is usually something a guy will say in response to a shit test, or in response to a girl saying, so I bet you talk like this to all the other girls. And then this simp is gonna be like, no, I promise, you're the only girl I talk to. Listen, dude, it's fine if she actually is the only girl you're talking to, but you never want to give off the perception that she is. The reason for that is because it kills mystery, it kills the idea of pre-selection, and women just can't resist pre-selection. I don't care how much they talk about it. I hate a player. You're fucking the player. But even if she is the only girl you're talking to, you never want to directly confirm it to her via your words. You never want to be like, yeah, I have no other girls on my phone, you're the only one. Always keep her wondering, always keep her guessing. And this is a very easy thing to do if you're attractive, because naturally other girls are going to stare at you. She's going to notice that other girls want you, which is good to your favor, but you never want to act like you get no other girls and she's the only one. You might think that that's what she wants to hear because that's what guys want to hear, but women aren't guys. Next we have I'm insecure about, so like opening up about your insecurities. The problem with this is she doesn't care. Like, she'll act like she cares, but she really doesn't. And you're just opening up about vulnerabilities that she may or may not use against you because you don't know who she is in the courting process. So I would put this at only if she's your wife, honestly. But you can get away with saying this anytime if you make it playful, right? Like, you could make jokes with this. Like, I'm insecure about the fact that I can't get girls hotter than you. Next, asking her if she likes you. So, you know, I've liked you for so long, but do you like me? Never ever say this, bro. ever. You're seeking her validation. You're coming off as a guy who just doesn't have game and doesn't have anything going for him. And I guarantee you 99% of the time, if you actually have to ask this question, the answer is no. Next up, verbally expressing your boundaries. So this is a problem I have with a lot of these like traditional kinds of guys, the guys who are like about masculinity and boundaries. And like, if you have to verbalize your boundaries and the things that you don't want in a relationship, she's not the right woman for you, because the right woman for you will naturally follow these boundaries without you having to force her or tell her to. Like, if she's trying to go on trips to Vegas or go on girls' nights out and you're not okay with that, I'm sorry, but you're never gonna really convince her to change with words. If she really loves you, she might change some of her boundaries to make you happy, but ultimately a woman comes pre-assembled. You have to find the woman who came pre-assembled with the right values for you, because if you're dating a Kamala Harris liberal chick, you're never gonna convince her to stop dressing promiscuously. You're never gonna convince her to stop going out. Maybe there's a few exceptions here and there, but most of the time, women don't change. And it's a waste of time trying to get her to change, because even if she does, she might revert to her old ways. And I remember a while ago there was a situation with Jonah Hill and his girlfriend where he was like telling her, yeah, here's a list of my boundaries, and she just fucking took a screenshot and exposed him for being controlling or something. That's what happens when you try to change a girl who isn't already the way that you want her to be. So this is honestly a no-go in my opinion. Next up, you will bear my children. Very, very based thing to say. Look a woman in the eyes and just go, you will bear my children. Of course, only if she's your wife. You don't want to catch a case. Next up, you make me so happy. Yeah, I guess this is cute and all. It's kind of cringe, but if she's your wife, whatever. Next up, I see a future with you. You know, if she's been your girlfriend for a while and you notice that she has all the characteristics like loyalty, loving, respectful, kind, etc., and you're confident that she wants to be your wife and have your kids, there's no problem with saying this. Go ahead. Next, edgy jokes. This is safe, but remember there's an art to making edgy jokes. If you want to be edgy and controversial and an outlaw in front of women, you have to be attractive, okay? Because two guys could make the exact same joke, and the ugly guy's gonna get shit on and cancelled and called a misogynist and a sexist. Other guy's gonna be perceived as funny, and women are gonna laugh at his jokes and be more attracted to him because he's such a bad boy and doesn't follow social norms and conventions. It's also about other nuances like your body language, the way you say things, and how you come off. So if you guys want a full breakdown on edgy jokes, I can't do that in a tier list, but if you guys want to see videos from me that are not tier lists, because let's be real, bro, how many more tier lists do I have left before I run out of ideas? 10, 15, 20? I don't know. I could milk this for a while, but like I want to start going more in depth on topics, and I can't really do that using tier lists. So let me know what you guys think. Next, we have no, I'm not a player. I'm a good guy. Again, this is just such cope. You are a player, you're just playing the game differently. You're trying to manipulate her into thinking you're this good guy and you're not like the rest. Players are always going to get more girls than you. You're just coping because you can't be a player. And these two kind of go hand in hand because like you're kind of explaining yourself to a woman. You should never try to justify or explain yourself to a woman. She's going to get turned off by that because she feels like she's equal enough to you to where you owe her an explanation. If this was a man, I would say it's rational and it's logical to expect that. But with women, they actually don't want you to give a fuck about what they think. So they basically want you to be who you are unapologetically. And, you know, if you're a player, just fucking lean into it. Don't try to justify yourself for any of that cringe shit. So I'm going to put this one here and I'm going to put this one here. Next up, after a breakup, you go, may I ask what went wrong between us? Again, very, very desperate and needy and like... I hate to use this term because a lot of people on the internet shit on it, but honestly, bro, let's call a spade a spade. For lack of a better term, very beta thing to do. May I ask what went wrong? A pre-selected guy who has options and doesn't care because he has abundance is never going to ask a question like this. Okay, it went wrong, she doesn't want me. Cool. It hurts. I will process the pain and I will move on accordingly. Next, anything that sounds like a confession, yeah, never ever say this. Oh, I've liked you for so long. When you have to confess, she's gonna run away. Whoa, where are all these feelings coming from? I thought we were just friends. That's what's happening in her mind. So never confess, guys. I know we've all made these mistakes, but fucking grow and learn from them. Don't be like these guys, okay? Don't be like these commenters here. Next, why are you taking so long to reply? A guy who's busy and has a life and has options. I know I keep saying options, but really it's just a guy who has a life, doesn't care if she takes long to reply. She replies whenever she wants to. If she doesn't want to, that's absolutely fine, okay? Congrats, you just killed all attraction. All right, this is just something I included because I saw a lot of nerds in my university do this. Like whenever a girl would make a joke or whenever there would be like a social moment, high five. Dude, honestly, this one's safe. I'm just trolling, but it's so cringe, man. Next up, you've been distant lately. Is everything okay? She's distant because she's pulling away and she's losing interest. You don't have to ask her to be able to know that. And by you asking that, it confirms her suspicion that you are desperate and that you have gone emotionally weak for her. And by saying that, you're actually pushing her away further. So if she becomes distant, let her be distant. If you truly love something, you let it free and it shall come back to you if it was meant to be. And lastly, we have, you're different to every other girl I've met. Yeah, again, this is just pedestalizing her to the highest degree ever. Dude, listen, I know you think she's different. She's probably not different. Even if she was, you don't want to tell her that because you're artificially elevating her ego and her sense of self that she hasn't really earned. Now, if she's your wife, you wouldn't even have to say this because it would be implied. But yeah, telling a girl she's different because she did some pick me shit, I'm gonna say you just killed all attraction.